Okay, today is day 5 of the magnesium soaking challenge. I'm supposed to talk about how long to soak in magnesium, and we're going to talk about that. But do not let me forget to tell you what I saw today about magnesium on a marketing thing. It's like since I started the challenge, I'm getting all this magnesium marketed to me and it about kills me. And I want you to understand. So do not let me forget. But let's get back to what I'm supposed to talk about and then we'll squirrel a little bit. So soaking in magnesium. You need to soak 20 minutes to 45 minutes. Why? Because remember, I do things the lazy way. Or let's call it something different because lazy has a really negative connotation. Let's say we're doing things the really smart way so that we can get out there doing all the other things that we love. And we want minimum input for maximum output. Everything I do, I'm looking at how much input for how much output that I'm getting. So for example, acerola cherry powder, which I take because it's such a boost to thyroid health. Well, 3 times a day, I actually feel better, but only a little bit. So usually I only take 2 because the third dosage is not really worth that much benefit. So that's just my whole philosophy. Minimum input, maximum output. But I'm not going to call it the lazy way anymore. I'm going to call it the smart way. So you and I are doing it the smart way. So 20 to 45 minutes. And that doesn't matter if you're in a bathtub or if you're soaking in a little bowl of water because it's your feet that are doing all the pumping. All the pumping is being done by your feet. Pretty cool. Now, when you're in the bathtub, you know how you have the tendency to put your feet up and really kick back and relax? Don't put your feet up. Your feet have to be in, well, they don't have to be. That's me kind of being a little control freak. So they should be in the water if you want to optimize the magnesium. And I thought it would be the other way around. I thought a bathtub, you'd get more benefit because you have more of your body exposed, but it's your feet that do the pumping action. And so really important that your feet are in the water when you're soaking. So in 20 minutes, we found through thermal imaging, that thermal imaging really taught us a lot about magnesium. And in 20 minutes, you are maximizing 80% approximately. It is going to be different from person to person, a little bit, a little variation, but approximately you're absorbing 80% of the elemental magnesium in your bowl or your tub in 20 minutes. In 45 minutes, you've absorbed about 98%. So you can soak longer than 45 minutes. So for example, I'm a total Jane Austen freak. I love Jane Austen. And so sometimes I put my feet in there, I turn a movie on, and my feet are in the water for like the whole movie. I'm not getting more benefit. I'm just forgetting to pull my feet out because I'm caught up in Mr. Darcy. And so you can absolutely keep your feet in there longer. It's not like any damage is happening, but if you've got other things to go do, then go do them because at 45 minutes, you're not getting any more benefit. And later on, we're going to talk about in one of the other days, we're going to talk about if somebody else can soak in your water and if there's 2 people and all that kind of stuff. But okay, now we got that out because that's like a basic and we need to talk about it. 20 to 45 minutes. I'm the one for my family when everybody was home, I was buying the magnesium. And so I would say to them, do not waste this magnesium. I paid for it if you don't have 20 minutes. And truly, under 20 minutes, you're wasting magnesium. And I don't want you to waste magnesium because when you waste magnesium, you're wasting your money. And that's a whole nother topic of money energy. I hope one day you and I get to talk about that because it's really cool. And actually, talking about money energy helps you with your health. But that's another different topic that we'll talk about on another day. So the answer to today's topic is very simply 20 to 45 minutes. There's the linear version. And we want to make sure you're getting maximum. If you don't have 20 minutes, just don't soak. Do it another time. Okay. Any questions on that one? I think we're solid. Pretty simple, pretty basic. We tested how much magnesium was in the water after. We did thermal imaging on a lot of people, and that's how we came to that conclusion. And it works, right? It just works. Okay. So now tell me, tell me if tell me if you want me to blast some marketing. I'm not going to say the name of the company. I will not say the name of the company, but I really want to tell you what I saw. So, do you have a minute? Do you want to know about some magnesium marketing that I just think is ridiculous? And I think you're going to think it's ridiculous too once you understand it. But here's the thing, when you see it, you're like, ooh, that's a benefit, right? And if they can sell you on benefits, then you buy it. But it's not really a benefit, but it sounds like a benefit. Okay, Kathy, I was belly laughing. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. These people do not know what they're talking about, or they don't care that they're hoodwinking you. So I was just like, oh my gosh. Okay, so like I said, I have been getting bombarded on my Facebook feed with magnesium ads, all these different companies like that I didn't even know were out there. And so I've been looking at them, watching them because they're companies I've never heard of. And the one company, okay, I have to keep a straight face. Ooh. Oh, it's so bad. So the one company was actually trying to sell people on the benefit of magnesium that it didn't sting. So let's pull that apart. Now, off the top of your head, that sounds like, oh, that would be a really good benefit. But here's what they missed the boat on. Here's what they completely missed the boat. And this is what happens and why there's so much garbage out there that's confusing to us because maybe we don't have, like, I don't have all the puzzle pieces. Do you have all the puzzle pieces? But I do have a lot of puzzle pieces when it comes to magnesium because I've been talking about it for 20 years and seeing all of the different things that happen with thousands and thousands of people over 20 years of soaking in magnesium. So let's talk about the problem when you see an ad that says we promise our magnesium won't sting you. So for example, if you go and you've never soaked in magnesium before and you're taking, even if you're taking oral magnesium all the time, because remember, oral magnesium cannot get you to cell saturation. It's not going to do it. It can give you some short-term benefits, but there's some long-term consequences and it doesn't get you to cell saturation. And that's my goal, is cell saturation. So, so if you went right now and got my magnesium spray, my spray is not diluted down. Now you'll notice less and less and less companies selling the liquid because it's a pain to ship, it's a pain to store, it's a pain to import. It's much easier and much, 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 much more profitable to sell flakes. I just won't do it because it doesn't get you to cell saturation. It doesn't meet my goal of building a strong foundation. And that's everything Living the Good Life Naturally is all about, is building a strong foundation so we're not chasing symptoms. So even if you're taking oral magnesium and have for a long time, because remember, oral magnesium, you're still not at cell saturation. So if you went and got my spray and you boom, 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 sprayed it on your arm or your leg, it could itch like almost like a burning, tingling itch. Like, oh my gosh, get this off me. The reason is when it does that is because your body is pulling it in so fast when you're deficient that it's tingling as it goes through your skin. It's pulling it too fast. So think of like a tug of war and one end is pulling really hard, like too hard. That's what's happening and it burns and it itches. And so that's, and here, every, never, always, we overuse those words. This is an appropriate use of that word. Every single time someone has said to me, oh my gosh, it itches or it burns or it tingles or it's really uncomfortable, I had to rinse it off, I know that they are extremely magnesium deficient. Now, years ago is what I would do is I would say, would you be okay if I paid for your magnesium red blood cell test? You'll have to drive and go get it. And then would you tell me what your results are? Because I wanted to have some data to back up my theory that that is not just magnesium deficiency, but severe magnesium deficiency. And every single time their magnesium was just absolutely tanked. And then I was talking to a nurse that was just incredibly smart. And she talked about the system that your body pulls things in. And if you're deficient, it's really pulling that in and it burns and it itches because it's pulling too fast. It's like kind of like your body knows what it needs. Mind blown concept. And so the magnesium, my magnesium, if you spray it on, it might make you itch, but magnesium shines the light on what is happening in your body. And so if that happens to you, instead of being like, go wash it off or something, because we don't want you burning or itching. I'm not about burning and itching. I'm about health. And so wash it off, but then recognize, oh, magnesium, I'm really deficient in magnesium. When you soak, that goes away because we're saturating the cells. And literally every single time when the person will soak, that goes away. When the person soaks, it goes away. And so when I saw it won't even make you itch, yeah, it's not going to make you itch because there's hardly any magnesium in there. 400 cups of magnesium flakes to equal a quarter cup of your magnesium soak. 400 cups. I don't think anybody's putting 400 cups in their bathtub. And so, yeah, it's not going to make you itch because there's hardly any magnesium. But do you see how that could totally pull you in? Like that could totally like, oh, that's a really good kind of magnesium. But now you know, help me spread the word. Now you know. That's not good marketing. It's poor education. And I really want to help educate people about magnesium. I really want people to understand the role magnesium plays and how to get to cell saturation, the best way to get there. And so that's what this 30-day magnesium challenge is all about. Okay, so Lorene says, would that happen on your head if you're deficient and soaked? I don't know. I've never had anybody put it on their head, Lorene. I have no idea. People put it on their thighs, calves, and arms were the 4 places that people put it when we tested. And I finally quit paying for people to have their magnesium red blood cell tested because it was happening every single time. And so we know, because our body's always giving us feedback, right? It's always giving us feedback. It's if we pick up the feedback and take action on it that helps us get healthier. And so when your body burns and stings from magnesium, it's because you're so deficient. And magnesium flakes will not make you burn or sting because there's hardly any magnesium. Think of magnesium flakes like Wonder White bread. Like it takes all of the good stuff out of the bread. Like there's no nutrients left. And so that's what happens when you do the magnesium flakes. Like, yeah, the bread is still there, but there's not really nutrition there. Okay, put it on her head. Her head burned. Oh, Lorene, I'm always open to learning about magnesium. In 20 years, I've never had anyone say, experience that. So I would make sure she was really hydrated. I would just make sure she's really hydrated before she soaks again. So yes, Sandra, you're right. We're always getting that feedback. It's just if we understand that communication. And so If a magnesium spray is making you itch, it's because you're incredibly magnesium deficient and soaking. And remember, tell me how long again. Here's the test. You didn't know I was giving you a test today. I want you to tell me how many minutes to soak in magnesium, how many minutes minimum, and how many minutes maximum. Oh, Sherry, I love that. 2 weeks into soaking. That's awesome. So how many? Come on, there's 14 people online right now. How many minutes did we talk about earlier? Because this is a test of the emergency no, not of the emergency broadcast system. This is just a test to see if you were listening, to see if these are worth, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, awesome. Oh, Kathy, yes, nailed it. Sandra, nailed it. 20 to 45 minutes. 20. Oh, good. Carolyn, yes, 20 to 45 minutes. Yes. Yeah, it would be interesting. I'm not willing to find out. Oh, gosh. Sorry about that. I'm not willing to find out and stick my head in the tub because magnesium is a salt and it would dry out your hair. And if any of you are curly girls out there, you know that curly hair, you do everything you can to keep moisture to your curls, to your natural curls. And so I'm not willing to do that. Oh, Sherry, I love that. You soak 45 minutes. Okay, so I want to know, what was the most important thing that you took away from today? What was a connection that you made? Share with me a connection that you made today. I always wish I had like some music playing right now. Maybe even like the Jeopardy. Da, 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 da. Da, da. I don't know. But what was the most important thing that you're taking away? Because sometimes is what we can do is we can hop online and just, I call it skimming. And it's actually a pattern that we are going to talk about soon in course 7. And it's called skimming. And you just skim tons of information, but you never really dive deep on it and understand it, because there's skimming information, there's understanding information, and then there's taking action on information. And so I want to know, we kind of skimmed it there together, you and I, but I don't want to create a bunch of skimmers. I want to create this place where women are deeply connected to action. So what was that thing that you were like, oh, okay, there's a connection. Oh, if your body itches or burns, your magnesium is low. Sylvia, soaking for 45 minutes. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for the two of you for taking that action, because when you do that, when you're learning something, anything, not just about magnesium, when you learn something and you determine what the most important thing was that you learned, it files everything in your brain so that when you need to recall that information, you can pull it up easily out of this organized file system. So thank you so much, both of you, for that feedback. And this is about a 30-day challenge. This is about getting to cell saturation and building our immune system so that we go into winter strong. There's lots of stuff happening right now in the world that we cannot control, but we can control how healthy we are. And it starts by building a strong foundation, not by chasing symptoms. Well, you can chase symptoms, but it's expensive and it's exhausting. And you'll just end up with a cupboard full of supplements. You can't remember why you bought them. And so I want you to be really deeply connected to magnesium and have education and understanding about magnesium. And then you can make the best decision for you, whether you soak or not. And so that educational piece of magnesium in that marketing, oh my gosh, I was just belly laughing. I was like, are you serious? And I can totally see how that would make sense to someone, because who wants to burn or sting, right? But you and I know better. We know what that means because we've got our communication down. And so because of that, we're never going to get looped into really crappy, faulty marketing of somebody who's just selling magnesium to make a quick buck versus really understanding what magnesium does to your body. Oh, I love that, Sherry. Magnesium is the start of a strong foundation. Oh, Sandra, in your mind, if it itches or burns, you would have thought it was working. Yeah, so, and it is working, but it's giving you feedback. It's giving you such feedback. So I'm so glad that you learned that. Oh my gosh, Pat, isn't it? Marketing can be so slick. And they took something and made a half truth out of it. And I think that's the most dangerous kind of marketing is a half truth. Like, oh, but they didn't have the whole story behind it. And it's so important to have the whole story. So that's why I'm focused on the 30-day magnesium challenge. And my goal is in the beginning to give you very linear, like this is how it is. And then we'll squirrel together, you and I, afterwards. um, oh, that's so kind, Sylvia. I am really passionate about it. And I think that passion really stems from Sylvia when I was so sick and that 3.5 years that I don't even really remember much. I was very insulated and not having lots of memories of it, but my family wasn't. And so is what it does is it brings it full circle and helps me make sense of something that was really devastating to my family financially, spiritually, mentally, and physically. In every single area my family was hit when I went down for that 3.5 years. And so helping educate people about what we can do to build a strong foundation helps me put that puzzle piece together and say, hey, I took that hard situation and I'm doing everything I can to make it a little bit better and to make sense out of it. And through that process, it's helped me to heal from some of the anger and frustration that I experienced from all the seizures and all of that stuff that went along with my health crash. So, loved hanging out with you tonight. Loved it so much. We will now, you've got Saturday and Sunday to soak in your 30-day challenge. Don't not do it over the weekend. Come on, come on, come on. I'm here to kind of bug you, remind you lovingly, lovingly, it's with all the love. Soak on Saturday, soak on Sunday. I know it's a different routine for most people, and we get the weekend vibe going, but it's just 20 minutes. It doesn't take you that long. You can do something else while you soak. Make sure you soak over the weekend, and then I'll be back on Monday. Now, on Monday, we're going to call it day 6 of education, but you'll be much further along in your soaking than just day 6. And so, anyway, that's how I'm keeping it straight in my head. I hope that helps you keep it straight. Have the best weekend. Don't forget to soak, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye.